Hey, and what is going on, everybody? It is Zero here, back with some more Diablo action. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the Jade Harvester build, man. The nuke build, and what it's all about. Okay, now you're not going to get crazy into the numbers about what makes this build work. I'll put a link down in the description to someone that explains that kind of stuff a hell of a lot better than I do. So for me, I'll just be giving you the basic explanation of the Jade Harvester build, okay? So let's hop right into the build, guys. Let's hop right into the gear, okay? The 100% first thing you're going to need. This is 100%. You need this, okay? You need the Quetzalcoatl, Legendary Voodoo Mask, Locust Swarm, and Haunt now deal their damage in half of the normal duration. What does that mean? Well, that's the J. Wilson term, guys. Double it. Double it. It's the J. Wilson right there. Double it. Okay, basically doubles the damage. Basically, that's the basic explanation. Again, look at the link in the description if you want to know the actual math behind what makes everything do what. Okay, guys. Next thing you're gonna need 5 pieces of jade, which will add up to 6 with the Ring of Royal Grandeur. You're gonna need Haunt damage or Locust Swarm damage on your shoulders and your chest, one or the other, entirely up to you if you want to go Locust Swarm or Haunt damage. For me, I prefer Haunt damage. Okay, and you're going to want to stack as much vitality and armor on these pieces as you possibly can, because this build is the epitome, the definition of glass cannon, okay? Like, man, this build is squishy. All right. When you want to talk about the gloves, okay, you have 2 options for the gloves, guys. Myself, I prefer Invite, crit damage, crit chance, because, like I said, this is a glass cannon build, guys, and you're going to want as much vitality as you can get. But another option, and I know it's an option that other people prefer, is Int, crit chance, crit damage, and cooldown reduction. You're going to want a lot of cooldown reduction on this build, guys, okay? Lots of it. Next up, obviously, you need a Ring of Royal Grandeur. Mine is less than ideal. Okay, attack speed on there is bad. You don't want any attack speed on this build because you're doing dot damage, and dot damage is not affected by your attack speed whatsoever. It is, however, affected by your crit hit chance and your crit hit damage. So stack as much crit hit chance, crit hit damage as you can, as well as cooldown reduction. Okay, no attack speed. So obviously I need to replace this ring. Okay, next up, the belt. Vigilant belt is, I think everyone will agree, is a must for this build, because you can get that cooldown reduction on there, and you can also pretty sure get resource cost reduction, but I went more tanky with vitality roll. And as you can see, I have life after kill on here. Again, try and get a lot of life after kill on this. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but get life after kill on as many pieces of gear as you can. Okay, so again, we're stacking as much vitality as we can in here, and armor. Haunt damage on your chest and your shoulders. Next 100% must have is the Strong Arm Bracers. Thanks to that special affix, enemies hit by knockbacks suffer 28% more damage for 5 seconds when they land. This is greatly going to increase your damage output, guys. Big time. Okay, all thanks to the Piranado that you're going to be using. Okay, you really need to have these, and you really need them to have cold skills on them. Okay. For your secondary ring, if you're running solo, the Unity is pretty much a must. Okay, an absolute must-have. Again, this is a glass cannon build, and your follower taking half your damage is going to save your ass a lot, okay? When it comes to the amulet, you have a couple of choices, obviously. Well, really, you can go anything you want. Preferably, you would have like a Julius Camo, or what's it called, the Zephyrian Amulet. So those are the arcane and the lightning ones that soak up those elements and heal you. I do not have one either that are appropriate for this build, because I just rolled garbage. So I'm just going with a Golden Gorget of Leoric. Try and get crit chance, crit damage on there. You can go Invite, or you could go Int, cooldown reduction, crit chance, crit damage, or you could even go Vitality, cooldown reduction, and just drop the Intelligence, because it's not going to make a huge difference, okay? Again, you could also go cold skills on there. Cold skills, intelligence, crit chance, crit damage. But at the end of the day, for me personally, this has better crit chance, crit damage, and therefore it's boosting my power more than that cold skills would, because when you let your nuke off, it's going to make some calculations based on your crit chance and your crit damage and all that junk, and how many ticks are happening in the dots. And again, look in the description if you want to see all the math, guys. And then it's going to decide how much damage is being done. Okay. And last thing, before we get into the weapons, is legendary gems. I know that there are some people running 3 legendary gems on this build, and I have run all sorts of different combinations of legendary gems on this build, and for me personally, it performs at its best when I only run 1 gem, and that is the Gem of Infectious Toxin. You're going to poison all the enemies, another dot for you, and then all the enemies that are poisoned are going to take 10% increased damage. So it's a little damage buff, and it actually makes a big difference. And I rather just have, you know, crit chance, crit damage, cooldown reduction on my other 2 pieces rather than put in a gem for, or put in a socket for another legendary gem. I just find it performs better this way. That's my opinion. You might have a different opinion, and that's fine, man. We are all entitled to our own opinions, after all. Okay, weapons. Actually, let's talk about multiplayer rings for a quick second, okay? If you're going to go multiplayer instead of single player, which I wouldn't recommend with Jade's build, I just don't like it multiplayer. I like playing it single player, and that's just my opinion. Okay, obviously Stone of Jordan with cold skills, not poison, would be a great choice. Or any ring with like int, bite, crit chance, crit damage. Like for this ring, for instance, I could re-roll that socket into cooldown reduction, or vitality for a bit of a survival bonus, right? More toughness. But let's get into the weapons. Okay, guys? Okay, so weapons, guys. You might not hear this in other videos for this build, but there's actually more than one option. And a lot of the videos that I've seen, people show like a Sunkeeper, an Azarath, or a Furnace, and that's like, they say, this is what you need. That's not the truth. Let's face it, some of these items are pretty hard to find, especially the Furnace. There's actually 3 viable weapons for this build. Each of them are going to perform differently, obviously. The Furnace, probably the best choice, best in slot for Jade's build, but there are other options. So one-handers, you'd probably use the Eucoprian Serpent, and instead of using Horrify, you'd go Zombie Dogs and Lifelink. Or something along those lines. You could use Lifelink, or what are the options here? I can't even remember what is on Zombie Dog. Oh my god, yeah, Lifelink would probably be best. You know, you already get damage mitigation out of the Eucoprian, and then you get a little bit more out of Lifelink. Okay, and then you'd use that in conjunction with either the Azarath, because it's got the cold skills on there, throw intelligence, reduce cooldown, and an Emerald in there. Very solid choice. Or what I see a lot of people running with is the Sunkeeper, because it's got elite damage on it. And your best bet with the Sunkeeper is to try and get damage percent on there, and again, Emerald. And then for your two-handers, you've got the Wrath of the Bone King, which is a great two-handed weapon, and it rolls cold skills again, but it actually rolls up to 30% as opposed to the 20% of the Azarath. And I have Vite cooldown reduction on mine. You could go int cooldown reduction, and it's got life after kill on it too. That's another thing to keep in mind, guys. If you can get life after kill on whatever weapon you're using as well, that's a huge bonus. Life after kill in this build is going to save your ass a lot of the time. So the more of it you have on your secondaries, the better. And lastly, the king of the Jade Harvester weapons is the Furnace. And of course, this is the hardest one to find, which is why I mentioned these other options, because chances are you don't have a Furnace. A lot of people don't have a Furnace. And for the Furnace, the best choice is going to have to be intelligence, damage percent, and cooldown reduction with an Emerald in the socket. Okay, guys, so that's basically it for the gear. Let's hop in over to the skills for a minute. Again, I'm not going to go into great detail on the numbers and whatnot, because I'm not really a numbers guy, but I will post a link in the description so you can look at the math if you want to. I'm going to give you a basic outline and idea of how this works. Okay, so we have Locust Swarm with Pestilence, we have Haunt with Resentful Spirits. This is our cold damage, right? And that's why we're stacking the Haunt damage. Piranhas, Piranado, Soul Harvest, Vengeful Spirit, Horrify, Frightening Aspect, and this is a great skill. If you look at the gain 35% additional armor for 8 seconds after casting Horrify, that's really going to help you out with your survivability when you're looking at high-end rifts. Spirit Walk, Honored Guest. Passives, Pierce the Veil, Creeping Death. This is a big one. This is an absolute must. Okay, Creeping Death, Grave Injustice, Spirit Vessel are an absolute must for this build. There's no other choices. You have to have them in some way or another. Pierce the Veil, you could change out if you wanted to, but I use it. You need that 20% damage increase is great, right? If you have a really good Hellfire Amulet and has one of these on it, and so you got like a really good Hellfire with maybe cold skills, intelligence, crit chance, crit damage, or even cooldown reduction or something like that on it, with one of these, then you can throw in another passive, and other good passives to use would be Jungle Fortitude for even more damage mitigation, and Gruesome Feast will just put your damage through the roof, okay? So those are options as well. Now when it comes to actually playing the build, guys, I know there's been a bit of talk amongst witch doctors as to what's the best rotation for it. And there isn't really a best rotation. There's only one rotation. It's the rotation that works properly, that makes everything do things the way it's supposed to do. So there's no, it's the only rotation. So even talking about a best rotation is silly because there's only one. Okay, so when you come in, say we have a pack here, you must drop your Piranado first. Okay, that's important. So you got a pack here, you go Piranado, and then you go Pestilence, Haunt, and you can drop that down if you want, and then boom. Okay? You have to make sure that the Piranado hits first so that your Pestilence and your Haunt are feeding off the buff from Piranado. That's the important part. Okay? It won't update dynamically is the thing. As far as the information that I've read. So what I mean is, if you were to go Locust Swarm, Haunt, and then Piranado, right, it's not going to update the damage. It's not going to update the ticks dynamically. It's snapshotted, basically. That damage and the ticks and the dots, it's all snapshotted rather than how you would think it would work, that after hitting it with the Piranado, the damage changes and gets buffed. It doesn't work that way with this for whatever reason. According to the information that I've read, that is. So you have to go Piranado, Locust Swarm, Haunt, you can drop that Horrify in, and then bam, blow everything the fuck up. And that's how it works, guys. So again, if you're interested in looking at the math, you're going to have to look at the link down in the description. You'll find a huge post on the Diablo forums that goes extremely in-depth, and it'll probably give you a headache reading it. So that's the Jade's build, guys. Check it out. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.